Richard Fuller.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it is a genuinely great pleasure to follow the honourable gentleman who speaks with great knowledge on this issue and of course represents an area of the country where there will be many people who will be interested in this bill in particular. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I want to, in common with other honourable members, welcome this bill. I just want to make sure I'm welcoming the same bill as they are, because it appears to me that in many of the contributions to date, they have aimed their guns at actually destroying those elements of this bill which are unique, special and different. The Right Honourable Gentleman, the Shadow Secretary of State, who's no longer in his place, started that off by talking about, and I think in reference to R&D, as being an example of an industrial strategy. Well, industrial strategies, Madam Deputy Speaker, are playthings of ministers. And as we know, they can change from time to time. And the whole design of this bill is to stop that. The Honourable Gentleman, the spokesperson for the Scottish Nationalists, chided me a little bit about the importance of the environment and where that should be a focus. Now, I'm not denying that the environment and climate change is a very important issue. What I would say is the point of this is that we don't prescribe that that's the only thing that it can research, not that it shouldn't look into it. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I do not wish to smother at birth the unique characteristics of this. Essentially, the purpose of this bill is to create an institution which, in Donald Rumsfeld's terms, would look at the unknown unknowns. And it is precisely for that point that politicians are not in the right place to define what those be. And I would, if I may, just gently disagree with my right honourable friend, the chair of the Select Committee, when he said that we should choose a couple of focal points for this, because I think that really gets to the point, because the question would then be, did we choose the right focal points? And I'm not sure that's something that this bill is seeking to do with this particular agency. I would, if I may, just try to ask some questions, but perhaps the Minister in her summing up, or perhaps later as we go through committee stage, we can cover. In DARPA, many honourable members have spoken about the importance of the programme manager, and I looked at the case example that's cited in the policy statement that was released for ARIA, and it talked about a worked example. Now, in this example, somebody was recruited on the basis of a £50,000 grant and a a £50,000 grant and a 3-month project, and that subsequently, upon review of that, would be granted, in this example, £20 million for further research. And I would say to my honourable friends and right honourable friends on the front bench, there are, to my mind, 3 key tensions here that I think we do need to tease out. The first of all is on that, which is that places a tremendous responsibility on the evaluation of those initial projects. So how is that? How do we see that going? And what are we thinking about in terms of the framework for that evaluation to take place? That seems a very thin basis for that initial judgment. Not wrong, but a thin basis. And second of all, through the appointments of the Chief Executive Officer and the Chair, which I know my right honourable and honourable friends are already considering, those also seem to me to be extremely important, because they will, in such an important way, define the culture of this organisation, certainly for the initial 5-year term of the Chief Executive and thereafter, if the first 10 years, at least the first 10 years of this organisation. Now, DARPA has been commented on a number of times, and DARPA estimates that 25% of its programme managers turn over annually. So there will be quite a large turnover of these key members of staff. So what is our expectation in the UK? And what is, as the Honourable Gentleman from Cambridge was saying, America can draw on an enormous pool of talent. Is it the goal that we will be able to pull on a larger, perhaps global pool of talent to play a role in this? I think that would be a very good aspect of global Britain. In 2019, 65% of DARPA projects were undertaken by companies and only 17% by universities. Is that the intention here? If so, I'd very much welcome that, for a point that I will make as I close. Also, in this bill, there is the opportunity for ARIA to create companies and joint ventures, and I know that there will be a following document that will come out which will explain how that will work, but it would be helpful to know if that will also include what will happen to any returns that are made from those joint ventures and those companies, and whether the money will go back into ARIA itself or whether it will be returned to Treasury. I think we all know what the answer to that may be, but I think it would be also interesting to at least pose the question. Now, the Secretary of State will know that ARPA was set up in the same year, 1958, I think, if I read my writing, as the Small Business Investment Act in the United States. And I think this is the point that I would like to close on, if I may, Madam Deputy Speaker. There is a very positive reinforcement between the initiatives that are being taken with this bill and with encouraging the support of venture capital or small businesses, and I refer honourable members to my declaration of interest on this issue of venture capital. But there is a tremendous opportunity. DARPA likes to say that it created the internet, but venture capital firm Kleiner Perkins can point to the fact that they made billions out of Amazon, billions out of Netscape, and billions out of Google. And that's really what the essence of the problem that we often hear in this country, which is we're very good at doing the research, we're very poor at commercializing. So can we see further efforts by the department to ensure that we have that same parallel tracks the United States have when they successfully launched their experience, their equivalent of our initiative, ARPA, in 1958? Thank you.